Welcome back to my video series on patching the gigantic generative Polykrell. And then here we are again looking at our Doepfer A152 track and hold switch. And in previous episodes I'd explained how I'm using the digital outputs, these far right outputs, sending them to an IntelliGel Mutamix and using that as kind of a makeshift sequencer that I'm using to control logic types for the counterpart voice by sending the CV into the voltage controllable logic on the IntelliGel plug. Now the other thing that I'd referenced that I just wanted to catch you guys up on was what's going on here. So this A152 also has an 8x1 switch on it, and although the module isn't passive, the switch is, so it's bi-directional. You can come into it with 8 different signals, either audio or CV, and then it'll give you one common signal out. Or you can go in with one common signal, whether it's audio or CV, and then send it to 8 different locations that it will cycle through as you either clock through it, or if you're using a voltage to control or to address each stage with CV, which is another way to do it. In my case, I'm clocking through it in sync with all the other 8-stage sequencers in the form subpatch, my little form engine for the Krellberg. And then what I'm doing is I'm just bringing in 3 cables that are coming from a mult off camera, and it's just a high voltage that I've got coming in. So as the switch makes its way down, 3 of the 8 stages have a high voltage, and then that voltage that comes out of there is what I'm using all the way over here. All the way over here on my A129, and so this is the controller for the 5-channel slew generator that I'm using as a portamento for the Doepfer Poly voice. And I had shown that to you guys originally when I described how the Poly voice gets its notes from 2 dock sketchy analog shift registers in the far bottom left. So then I'm able to change the amount of portamento, and in this case I've chosen just to sort of bring it in to a fixed amount, or completely reduce it so there's no portamento at all. And I do it just by bringing in that high voltage here into this slew CV, and this is the switched high voltage that's coming from the switch side of the A152. So for some of the stages, most notably stage 3, 5, and 6 of our 8-stage form, this voltage will change. That voltage will change coming in there. It'll bring our slew right up to the top, and when it's up at the top, then we'll have no portamento. The rest of the time it'll be down at this basic level, which gives us quite a bit of portamento, and we'll hear it kind of sliding in and out. And again, this is another one of those controls where I could choose to use another sequence and then control the amount of portamento in different stages. And that's really what's brilliant about modular, and especially if as you make your way through module choices, you're adding different modules as you go, if you're choosing modules that can be voltage controlled, that have as much controllability as possible, because then you always leave yourself open in some future time to be able to control that when you need to. Obviously, it's not something that you would do in every patch. You can still use it like a basic slew, use these modules in their most basic form, use a voltage controlled envelope as just a basic envelope, But it's nice to be able to have that option, because being able to make those subtle controls to it in the background is what allows us to stretch out these types of generative musics to be able to become a whole piece that shifts and changes the same way that other types of music does. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this look into the inner workings of the Polykrell patch. It's been a pleasure. Next time around, I'm hoping to give you a listen to what the whole thing sounds like in somewhat of a nicely set up stereo mix, so we can hear the fruit of our labors with all these patch cables. Thanks again for all your support. Thanks again to my Patreons. Please consider joining my Patreon to help me make more videos and some more music, and please like and subscribe my videos. Thanks so much. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.